Like I have mentioned before, this year has not been that great for horror movies overall. It has been an okay year, but nothing fantastic. There aren't too many movies that I could have replaced these ones that I have on this list. That's because there has been few times where something has really been fantastic. Unlike last year, where many horror movies were fantastic. So here comes my list of the best horror movies of 2023. Number 5, Scream 6. After the Scream franchise came back in 2022 with Scream 5 as a requel and became a success, we got a sequel a little bit over a year after that. The Radio Silence team did a fantastic job with Scream 5, so it was bound to get a sequel. Here we get for the first time ever New York as a playground for Ghostface. And it works greatly for the most part. We get a Ghostface that is more brutal than ever. And we get some great scenes that belong among the franchise's best scenes ever. For the first time also, we get a Scream movie without Sidney Prescott. But it still works surprisingly well without her. We get the return of Kirby Reed from Scream 4, and she is utilized pretty well. But the best performance in this movie comes from Melissa Barrera. She really shows everyone that didn't like her performance in Scream 5 that she really can act. And she does a terrific job here. All the core 4 characters get more development here, which is good and greatly done. You get some great settings and scenes, and it is an overall well-written and directed movie. The opening alone is one of the best scenes in the franchise ever. But I did have some issues with how much some characters can survive and the motives of the killers. But it was nice seeing 3 ghost faces for the first time in the Scream franchise. Overall, I would put this after Scream 1, 2 and 5, but before Scream 3 and 4. It is still one of the best entries in the Scream franchise. Number 4, Evil Dead Rise.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
This, with the Scream franchise, is one of the most consistent horror franchises in terms of quality. It is also one of the goriest franchises in horror. It has been 10 years since we got the last Evil Dead movie, which was also a very brutal, fun and gory movie, directed by Fede Alvarez. This one is directed by Lee Cronin, who is mostly known for Ghost Train and Hole in the Ground. And he does an amazing job with this movie. It has no real connection to previous movies at all, besides the Deadites. This franchise tends to do standalone movies for the most part. Here we follow a single mother with 2 kids and her sister. The mother and the 2 kids live in a high-rise that they have to move out from because it's being demolished soon. An earthquake happens and the kids find the Necronomicon. But before that, we get a scene that has totally different characters and a totally different setting, which then reconnects to the main story. But getting back to the earthquake, the kids find the Necronomicon and take it to the building. They also find old vinyls that they play up, and they also read some passages from the Necronomicon, which of course unleashes the Deadites. And the mom is the one that gets possessed first. The mom becomes the lead Deadite and tries to kill her own kids and everyone else in the building. I had quite a lot of fun with this movie. It's very intense and funny at the same time. Those tones are something the Evil Dead franchise does quite well. It is horrific to see the mother trying to kill her own kids and what she tells them. What she says, alongside with what she does, is really horrific to see, especially when she's doing that towards the kids. Alyssa Sutherland has an amazing performance as the mother, especially when she's possessed. In fact, all of the actors do a great job with their roles. The kid actors are great. And the direction from Lee Cronin and the script he has written for this story really works well. And hopefully we don't have to wait another 10 years for the next movie in the Evil Dead franchise. There is no physical cameo from Bruce Campbell this time, but he did do a particular sound effect in one scene. All in all, this is an entry that adds a lot to the Evil Dead franchise. Number 3. Saw X.
Hello, Diego. Or should I call you Dr. Cortez? I'd like to play a game.
This is not a movie I would have thought to place on any top list on any sort of genre ever, because the Saw franchise has for the most part been bad. The previous one, Spiral, was good enough, but I didn't think bringing back John Kramer would work because he's dead. And the trailers didn't do much to impress me either. But I have to say that this might be the best Saw movie after the first one. Bringing John Kramer back in a movie that takes place between the first and the second movie was a good move. Tobin Bell is back as John Kramer, and this might be one of his best performances as the character. Also, it's one of the best character arcs that John Kramer has had. The story is about that John Kramer finds these group of doctors that practice alternative medicine, and it is presented as one that can save his life from the cancer that he's having. The doctor team is led by Dr. Cecilia Peterson. She convinces John that her procedures can save his life. But it all turns out to be fake. They didn't even do surgery on him. He finds that out when he gets a call back, and they are not there. So he goes and captures them with the help of Amanda Young. Shawnee Smith is back in the role as Amanda Young again. This movie looks like a Saw movie. It has the traps that the franchise is famous for, but it's not the focus. The focus is the well-written story and the great characters. The quality really went up with this one to the heights of the first original movie. And they have already announced a sequel that will be coming in September next year. I just hope it's as good as this one. Number 2. Sister Death.
Estás maldita.
Sister Death is a Netflix movie released this year. It is the prequel to the horror movie Veronica that came out a few years ago. Directed by Paco Plaza. It is what the Nun movies should be. It is a really unsettling movie with a good story. Paco Plaza really knows how to direct a striking movie in a visual way. It is some of the best cinematography work I have seen in a horror movie for a while. The scares are also more brutal than usual. There are a few jump scares, but it uses them in a very effective way. The story is also very interesting and engaging, with a well-written script and great direction from Paco Plaza. Aurea Bedmar also has a great performance as the younger version of the sister from Veronica. And overall, this is one of the most unique horror movies of 2023. So my number one horror movie of the year is Talk to Me.
Now say, talk to me.
Talk to me.
I have mentioned in my review for this movie that I'm not really a fan of demon possession movies. They all tend to have the same tropes. But this one surprised me with how good it is. Directed by the YouTube duo Reka Reka, it is the biggest surprise of 2023 for me. It is something as unusual as a demon possession movie with themes about loss and addiction. It's also very creative in its world building. A totally fresh mythology was created in this movie about demons. You get scares that are more on the emotional level, with a cast of mostly unknowns, and two YouTubers that are first-time directors. So the movie, when it comes to both writing and direction, is surprisingly well executed and well crafted. I can't wait for what these guys will do next, and I can't wait for the sequel. So that was my best of list when it comes to horror movies for 2023. I hope everyone has a happy new year, and I hope we get a good 2024 when it comes to horror. If you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe. This has been Boogeyman Cinema, and thank you for watching. What are your top 5 horror movies of 2023?